what I'm saying?
What do you, I don't even. Did you get to the point?
All right, look.
I don't know if you got there.
There are people that think that this world should die and burn, and
yeah.
There is basically what I'm trying to say is there's other ways to try to save this and be like, okay, without saying, you know.
Oh, everybody just gotta die.
That's true.
Where's the meteor? I want the.
That's not gonna happen.
You got Satanists, and you got your saints. You know.
Yeah, but that's all things that are all people who believe in is something that doesn't exist if we can't see. You know, that's a big problem. All religion is trash.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
That's the whole problem. But yeah, I mean, there is a good solution, but it's a good thing what they say in Metal Gear Solid 1, you know?
You got this dude that's like fucking Nas X promoting some devilish shit.
Like it ain't even the devilish shit, cause that shit we was talking about, that shit don't exist. It's the fact that this guy just in January said that he knows that his core audience is children, and he is okay with that. Old Town Road is almost like a damn lullaby for kids. Kids love that song, and it's not because they promoted it to kids, it's because the general public of adults didn't really fuck with it. It was kind of like, okay, a song. The kids loved it. It's kind of like a whipping nay for kids. So he knows that. The people who run his contract, because his mama's like a crackhead or some shit, they love finding broke down black people to fuck us up with. So what happens is they get this little broke down black boy who's already gender confused and shit like that because he may have been abused and shit when he was younger. And what do? They put him at the forefront right here where he's breaking the door down for this homosexuality, this LGBT agenda. I mean, he just said that his core audience was kids, and then months later, without a disclaimer, without a warning, without anything, released that video. You know the video we're talking about. Release that video. That's a covert act. That's an act of war against our children. Yeah. And people don't understand that. LGBT people hear that and they're like, oh, you must be a homophobe. First of all, there's nobody that's ever been diagnosed with the irrational fear of gay people. So don't call me a homophobe. You just came up with a word. You just came up with something that's like the N-word for straight people.
What video? What you talking about?
I'm talking about the Montero video.
Oh, the Montero shit.
Yeah,
I seen a part of that. That shit pissed me off.
Dog, and that's he's a kid. He's supposed to be a kid star. He just said. He just fuck what he was saying. The imagery. Our kids gonna be watching Old Town Road. Well, I got kids. My kids don't watch YouTube and shit like that. But I'm just saying, a kid could watch Old Town Road and that be the next video they watch, and they in their room by themselves.
And they get comfortable off the next music because this first song is so good.
You feel what I'm saying? And then you have somebody come along, and they have in certain kindergarten schools around this country in America, they are teaching kids how to have anal sex the safe way. Like this goes.
Can you prove that?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm telling you, you need to watch buck breaking.
That's why I've been hounding. Let me tell you something. I've been hounding my moms about my siblings. I'm like, I do not want this type of shit going down. I'm like, you need to look real deep.
Right, really pay attention.
What they really teaching, because what they teaching them is not what they taught us back then.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Like the shit is different. Like that's what I'm trying to tell you. All this shit is. The Europeans that run this country is still the same Greeks and Romans and shit that was doing that shit back in the damn day. Like
fuck the Europeans.
Shut up, Peter. You being immature about history. This is history. I'm not saying this to dog on European people.
I'm not immature, but everybody. If just think, everybody know how it would work and how everything was going. And at the end of the day, it's all fucked up.
But you just sounded like you had a mouthful of marbles. I'm here sitting there trying to tell I'm just telling the truth. I'm putting truth to power. This is just European history. I'm not making shit up. This is how they did the shit. The same people that run the country now are still the same covertly gay people who was doing all of this bullshit back in the day. They was raping slaves, raping male slaves. They were raping the women slaves, and we have proof because the children came out looking light-skinned and shit. But you don't have a lot of proof. You don't have a lot of proof of the homosexuality that was going on with the slave masters. They was doing that shit, and they were having sex. Look up James Hammond. He has diaries of where he was a pedophile. He's a pedophile, Go ahead. Go ahead.
Every Roman man who was in the army has to sleep with a guy first before he was a man.
Or what? It wasn't even had to sleep with a guy. They chose to. Have you ever heard the expression? They're tied together from the ankle, or they're hooked at the ankle. That because when they put people in the war, they tied two gay dudes together, and they would fight to the death for one another. That's where that saying even comes from. It wasn't a forced thing. It was voluntary. That's the lifestyle coming out of the Ice Age and shit. What they was doing in the caves and shit. It's just history. It ain't like I ain't got. Y'all can look this shit up and y'all can come back and be like, you're a lying sack of shit. But at the end of the day, this is what the reality of it.
Nobody says that.
No, I didn't say y'all said that. I said, but y'all have y'all can if y'all find something different. Y'all bring it to me and be like, Psycho, you're wrong. You feel what I'm saying? But this is the real. This the reality we live in.
They have history in Jamaica, and I am a bit of a Jamaican. I heard this from my father himself. This is why they call gay people, what do you call it? Bati boys.
Yep.
Bati, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead. Break it down, because I already know where you're going. Please break it down.
Because they came to the Jamaican Caribbean, fucking, trying to de-dominate people, like demasculate people, basically.
That's right.
That's why we were so harsh against people who are
homosexuality. Yeah, Jamaicans hate being gay shit. They don't fuck with that gay shit down there. And people be like, "Oh, black people are just
They be trying to, because they trying to break the dominance down. Remember, they're trying to come after men's masculinity, and the first race they're coming after is black people, because we black people are the most,
the original man,
masculine people on the planet.
The original man. There's no everybody. If you look at all the youth of the world, all the youth of the world are following what young black men are doing, and they're calling that masculinity. Why? Because you have in every one of these sectors, you have a LGBT movement that's trying to effeminize men. Men are trying their hardest to find anything that makes us, that makes us feel like men. That's why a lot of men watch football or sports or some shit. I was like, so
you don't even have to watch sports. Just watch the shit that men do every day. How this country was built, bro. How this fucking country was built.
You know what I'm slavery?
Saying? All like on the backs of us,
yeah,
men.
well, slavery, men and women.
It's not just slavery. It's not just black men, but men in general that built this with these hands, bro.
I got the manly
hands.
Well, see, I got to cut in there because
who built these buildings?
Well, I got
who brought the air conditioners? Who brought the technology? Who brought the fucking games to life? You feel what I'm saying?
Well, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. But look. But we got to tell the truth if we're gonna bring truth to power. Because if slaves were doing all the labor, so how did all these white men learn how to do all that shit you was talking about? They didn't. They learned it from black men. Black men created the cotton gin, created all the shit to make slavery better for them, because to make it easier. White men weren't working, so they didn't have any skills. So when we talk about building the country,
they have to learn from us.
Yes, that goes to foundational black Americans. We came up with all the skills. We came up with everything.
The biggest slave traders were black themselves.
No, they were African. They were African.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but
Europeans often throw that in there as a monkey wrench, but they were African people. And you're talking about the people who were selling people who weren't their people. You see, you got to understand how African. I'm going to tell you about my lineage, okay? Because my lineage comes from foundational black Americans and Nigeria and Western Africa. So I know what I'm trying to tell you about my history, not just some shit that I heard. How you tell me about the Netherlands and I can't tell you shit because it's the Netherlands. I'm telling you about my history. Okay,
so these people invited the whole slave trading. That was Dutch.
Okay, well, the Portuguese started the slave trade, regardless.
Right, anyway, while I'm on rest mode, I'm gonna try to look for a lighter. I'm trying to light this blunt.
I'm trying to tell you because it's quite an episode of Psychotopia today. I was like, so when they sold people to these Europeans, the Portuguese, when they sold people, they were selling people who were prisoners or people who were refugees. They weren't selling their own people. That's a classic myth that African people sold their own people. They did not sell their own people. They were refugees. When the white Muslims came from the Middle East over there in that area and they invaded Egypt, a lot of the Egyptians went west. The papers and stuff, the writings and stuff say that they went west. because they had ancestry over there, Nigeria. So they went westward. Okay, so the people who were given up, the people who were given up were these people, the ants and the descendants of these people, because these were the refugees. These were the people who came, you know, later on down the line, and they knew that. Or you gave away prisoners of war, because in African culture, when you had a battle or something, you didn't just slaughter everybody. It was about okay, you won, you whooped our ass. Okay, now y'all in prison, y'all got to work for us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to, you know, that's how that works. People didn't just get slaughtered. I was like, so we have a whole myth about black people selling black people. Like that didn't happen. The Portuguese came through and they were buying workers. We didn't know that when they did find out what they were doing to them in America. You can look up where they had slave masters not slave masters, black people who were rebelling against the Europeans when they came in there. King Meneley, you look up King Meneley. King Meneley, he got guns and shit and was like, fuck y'all coming here fucking with me trying to take our people are in here. Once they figured out what was going on over there, so it's a whole history of shit that doesn't get really told, that people really just find out right now because it's the age of information. Google's there. Google's a thing now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more happened.
But
do you guys also know that there are more people in slavery than there were back in the days? People forget that a lot.
Yeah.
It's always talking about what happened.
I was like, yeah, but I can't cap for other people. Like, I'm in America. Like, I can't be like, oh, well, what about them Indonesian slaves or some shit? Like, I'm in America. I can't control that. What the fuck am I gonna do? I was like, I got to worry about the white supremacists that's here running the goddamn country. Joe Biden's bitch ass the president. This man was one of the biggest advocates for the 1993 crime bill that put a lot of black men in jail to this day. This motherfucker's, fuck him. We got to deal with our leaders and presidents and shit being like it over here. Like, I can't worry about somebody else's enslavement and shit. And anyways, anybody else that's enslaved, they have to deal with their white power. Like the white power over here structure is what I got to worry about. Like when we talk about reparations, I'm talking about foundational black Americans. Caribbean people, if they want reparations, y'all need to talk to Britain. Britain had their foot up y'all's ass. We dealing with the white people here who's trying to put a foot up their ass, and we keep fighting. We the only people in the world that's still fighting this monster over here. Everybody else just leave and come over here and then undermine us. There's something called the Rainbow Railroad because the Catholic Church was raping all the Africans over in Africa. You got a lot of gay Africans now. The Rainbow Railroad brings Africans from over there who are gay, and they get benefits and shit when they come over here to America. Now you have a lot of these people who like Black Lives Matter and shit like that. A lot of these little false black leaders are immigrants from there. So they have all these LGBT talking points, and they start talking about black people in general. The only good
some
black
are Soviets and Nazis. Don't forget there. Some of them are Soviets and Nazis.
You feel me? Look, I mean, look at that.
The Nazis, they're the best. Heil.
Go ahead, look.
Yeah, look up. And speaking of Nazis, look up Pink Swastika, where you talk about they talk about the pederasty was going on. Pederasty is them eating children.
The Nazis were against gay people.
In all actuality, they all united in front just to try to destroy this country.
Look back in the day.
If you look at it, bro, I've looked at a lot of videos that said that the leaders are pretty fucking they're really mad at us because what we've achieved.
Yep. It's like how can we still
we're being broken down? Yeah,
they're trying to. Like, look at Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon, just said something nice about Farrakhan, and they broke him down. Buck breaking is a thing. Buck breaking ain't just them raping you. Buck breaking is them threatening to take away your livelihoods, or you can't take care of your family. Having my children ripped away from me, and I can't do anything about it. That's a form of buck breaking. It's different levels to the shit.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Sometimes you just need to sit back and listen, kids.
Leon something.
This is history that maybe your school won't even give you.
Yeah, for once, I'll give Poison some damn credit because he just sat there and he just soaking it in. The only thing, you get a notepad and pencil.
Because this is history class that not even your own school won't even offer.
The only thing that my history teacher was close to even talking about this was Lewis and Clark. That's the only thing.
Yeah, Lewis and Clark talk about how they saw red and black men over here fighting when they came over here. I was like, foundational Black American means my ancestry goes past before 1526. 1526 is when the first group of Africans was brought over here, and they escaped, and they went out, and then they had to keep bringing more over here. I was like, that's my history goes back to this country before then, and to slavery.
So you New Amsterdam.
What's that?
Never mind.
It's
You remember
elimination,
that?
by
Have
the
you
way.
ever watched Psycho? You ever watched that movie? It's an old movie. It's called Queen.
Remember that the Amerikaners were a Dutch colony? New Amsterdam is what calls now New York.
Yeah, look up,
It's now
look
the
up.
home of the billionaires.
Well, talk about New York. Look up,
The name Wall Street, that's Dutch. You know, there were a lot of Dutch things. Harlem, we got the Harlem over
Look
here.
up Lord. You talking about New York?
Brooklyn
Look up Lord
is Dutch.
Cornbury. Look up Lord Cornbury. Lord Cornbury was a cross-dressing European man, and was one of the key people pushing for slavery, getting slavery started and shit like that, getting it pushing through and all that. So this is the history of LGBT. You know what I'm saying? They try to talk. They be like, let's teach LGBT history in school. It's like, okay, well, let's teach it. J. Edgar Hoover, the person who was the head of the FBI, the one that murdered Fred Hampton, the one that murdered Malcolm X, murdered Martin Luther King. He was a LGBT closeted.
Oh, I've been on that. My friend told me about that.
You feel what I'm saying?
My boy John F. Kennedy, bro.
You feel what I'm saying? Like your boy Kennedy, all these black men I just named that he killed. Kennedy is shit. I was like, he took away our black leadership. And he said, and he's quoted as saying he must stop the rise of a black messiah. You feel what I'm saying? He said that. He's quoted as saying that. He was closeted LBGT. So you want to talk about the LGBT history? They've been trying to undermine us. They've been trying to fuck with us like this, and all this shit now ain't nothing new. This is just a continuation.
Do you guys think the same about lesbian?
That's all LGBT. It's all one group. They all one group. They all in the same group.
Guys.
That's what all. That's what the letters is. Lesbian is the first letter.
They're the most domestic violent group.
Lesbian, gay, bisexual, T. I don't know what that
Hell,
means.
it's a whole bunch of letters now. You might not want to start guessing because it's a whole bunch of damn letters now. I just stop at T.
I know what the L means. So.
Yeah.
I don't understand that lesbian shit either. Me.
To each his own, but it's just when you use it to subjugate people, when you subjugate people and then try to use that as a shield to stop your own subjugation.
Exactly,
like,
that's what the whole point is, and that's with religion same. You know, everybody is free, but you got to board a lot of people with it. Fuck you.
Yeah, LBGT is basically a political party at this point.
Exactly.
And what? I don't like the Psycho. I don't like the feminist movement either.
Yeah.
I just witnessed that crap firsthand from my own boss, and she's a female, and I said, you pregnant and all this stuff, and you got thinking about your baby daddy. I was like, why don't you get married? She said, no, I don't need no man. Blah 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 blah, and all this stuff. Oh well.
Yeah, those are those.
Let me
Yeah,
ask you
those are
something.
those.
Do y'all watch this shit called this dude called Samuel Kevin Samuels?
Hey, yes sir.
That man is the truth,
Yes
man.
sir.
he be putting them women on live.
She's like, what are you on a scale from 1 to 10? 10. He said, okay, look, I'm gonna shut the call off right now if you say you're a 10, because you know you're not a 10. And I'm just like, ooh, spicy.
Okay, son, I heard of him.
Yeah, dark skinned brother with glasses.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I got his face in my head right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all that. I mean, going back, that's what I was talking about earlier with Frederick Douglass. When you talk about the feminist movement, like study Frederick Douglass and what he was doing. He's the one that brought that, because white men didn't give a fuck about white women. I was like, that's the myth. Like when they try to come after all men, I'm like, no, y'all men didn't give a fuck about y'all. That didn't have shit to do with us. Y'all stripping our women away from us, breaking up the black family. You know what I'm saying? The family, so everything is a family. These banks out here, JP Morgan, Chase Bank, all these is families.
Central banks, all
this is families. It's a family corporation. America's a corporation. It's a family corporation. I was like, the thing is, when you break down the black family, you break down the black family structure. You take the man out of the house, you put him in a dress. You tell the woman, oh no, you can be the man and woman in the house. You put all this stress on her to where she's having hemorrhoids and all types of all types of these thyroids and shit. I mean, and all types of ailments and shit, high blood pressure and strokes and all of that at 45 because they giving her all this responsibility. And then when our children are left alone with no parents, we're just gonna go ahead and just give them all these LGBT imagery and all of this shit so they can just end up being gay. It's a population control. They're trying to eliminate our population. They've been trying to do it. They tried to rape it out of us, but they realized, oh snap, we're genetically recessive. So if we have a sex with a black person, that black person just gonna come out brown. So let's not do that anymore. I was like, their numbers is dwindling. They'll be gone by 2040. Europeans will be a numerical minority on the planet. You'll be able to count exactly how many are left on the planet. They don't tell you that in mainstream media and shit because that's scary. Because if a group of people can go extinct, what does that make them to the world?
Yeah, but what I hear, that's the thing. We here in the Netherlands, and then I bet you it's also in Switzerland and Sweden. What I said before, we got the most different cultures, but we don't got a single group. My neighbor is black. The other side of the street live Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. There's people in Germany and a French guy.
Yeah, so y'all have, so it's
But
like, what is a Netherlands?
It's one, and what we don't have is that the different groups are shit. It's all still, you know, it's all the same people.
Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of different types of people and shit. It's like there's no, like, when you think of the Netherlands, you don't think of, there's not one group of people you think of. Like America was supposed to be like in the 80s. Think about America in the 80s. America was apple pie, the American flag, the eagle, and Hulk Hogan.
It's all that's the whole problem where it starts with, because that's the whole problem. Because when you start to have one groups, you're always going to tell that they are better, and that's the whole thing. That's where the shit is starting with.
Well, see, there's always tribalism. People. I mean, there's always tribalism. Like, people are always going to be like, okay, look, I like this, so, you know, a group of us that like this are going to go over here. I mean, that's who we are, but you have to make sure as a government that everybody gets good. And that's what the problem is. If you got one group who gets shit, yeah, of course they're gonna fuck the rest. Yeah, that's the problem when you have a group that oppresses people, that is oppressing people. Like, it's not people being together isn't a problem, but when you have a group that wants to be dominant, wants to be supreme over the other group, that's the problem. Exactly.
And so long as you have that shit, it's always gonna happen. It doesn't matter if they are gay, if they are Adolf Hitlers, or there are wannabe fucking faggots, or I don't know what the fuck kind of different shit you have, but that's the whole problem. So, that's all. Let's wrestle.
No, shut up. Anyway.
Like religion is a group too. God. You got like, you had like the Catholics and the Protestants and blah 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 blah. The Muslims think they are better than the Christians, but they war.
But all of that has a starting point in it. Anyway, that's why I'm saying all of that stuff happens like what 5,000 to 7,000 years ago is when all this shit started with that. And then you got some fighting before then, but you got this is history. This is white Muslims fighting over there. When you talk about Mesopotamia and shit like that, those was a different type of group of people than the Egyptians, than the people that were further south than the Egyptians and shit like that. I was like, these were the Nubians and shit. I was like, so you got these different groups of people, but it's not until the white Arabs start invading then we see shit like that. I was like, it based on your environment and where you were, you develop a certain type of mentality, a certain type of mindset. Like people that were in the Ice Age aren't going to act like people who are in the Sun Age, which would be Africa. People on the equator, they didn't have to deal with the Ice Age, but we do know there were multiple Ice Ages. Okay, so what group of people had to deal with that, and what mindset did they develop being up there? Because that's a totally different mindset. Once we start studying really for real, once we start studying one another like we're separate, because the problem is we say, oh, we're all human. You see, so there's a kind of a counter argument to we need to be all different. Because look, everybody's like, oh, we're just all human. You know, JFK started that shit, and he only started that shit because old girl was going to be Wilma Rudolph was going to be in the Olympics, and the Russians wrote a letter to him and was like, you cannot have black people in the Olympics because you know they genetics and shit is stronger than ours, and that's not fair. and he wrote a whole big letter.
They got something called black blood. They got
Yeah,
black blood.
he started the campaign. No, we're all the same. Everybody's just we're all the same. We're all just humans and shit like that. He started that shit. Once we start
It's
realizing
an elimination match. Oh fuck hell.
I said it was elimination.
Like
That's
I
why I'm
said,
not
we got
breaking up
black
pins,
blood.
because I
That's
know
what
it's
they called it
elimination.
back then. Black blood. He got
Okay.
black blood. Whatever that means.
I got blue blood.
They know what that means.
Know
That
what
means
that is, but
superior. They know what that means.
blue blood. Blue blood.
That's what they said back in the day. Oh, he got black blood. This ain't me.
They knew what that meant. They knew what that meant. That meant that they had the potential to be greater than them. That's what that always means. It's like, what would be the other talking point?
Hey,
It's
Sako,
like-
do you think black people are like? Do you think we're better in like everything, like in sports and shit? 'Cause-
Absolutely. Who do you see? I mean, I don't have to say it. Who do you see dominating sports? Who do you see dominating it? A black person is going to be worth more on the field than a white person. They know that.
Been
It's like,
hearing the name Michael
I'm talking about, I'm talking
Michael
about, like,
Jordan
every
for
sport. I'm talking about,
years.
like, every
In some sports, absolutely. When you talk about athletics, absolutely,
Like-
100%.
like-
Basketball,
like-
but yeah,
I count
basketball.
my hand
It's like
fingers.
that. All sports. They're all like young sports. yeah.
basketball, you got
But
LeBron James,
yeah,
Kobe
you know.
Bryant,
But
all them.
if it's like ice skating,
Football, you
things
got,
like
like-
that, the white people. But the others.
no,
well,
so you don't know the black ice skate? It's a black girl ice skate over.
Now,
It's-
the ice skating is dominant by the Netherlands of over 100,000 years. Well, how long they doing that? They're all Dutch. But that's also nothing to do because we're Dutch, no, because the men are bigger here. We are the longest people.
But you got to think, black people. How
no.
long have black people been interested in ice skating? Y'all was in the ice age, so yeah, y'all
That's-
like, oh, we can skate on the ice. When it's like tennis. Black people didn't really think about tennis that much. You had some black tennis players until Venus and Serena came along and it just destroyed it for the last 20 years. And then you got the Osaka chick who's half black, but she, you know what I'm saying, she rides for the black people. So, I mean, then you got another black person basically dominating the sport. So, not until black people shift their interest, because there was a black hockey league in Canada.
Fuck Tiger Woods. Fuck Tiger Woods. That's the problem where it all started with. There was that Eminem was the best rapper in the world, and Tiger Woods won the first time the world champion in golf.
Oh damn!
This man went all out.
That's why
He's throwing monkey wrenches into play so you lose your train of thought.
No.
So you stop talking about it because he's
Jesus,
uncomfortable
bro.
because he's
Let's not talk about Tiger Woods while PBD's
Yeah,
around.
look, they in the chat. Who is this guy?
Hey,
yeah.
hey, we have to get some jokes in it too, huh?
He's like, well, that's usually when we talking about the real, like, who's thinking about jokes?
We life is one joke.
Like, we talking about history.
Yeah.
The real
On the
deal.
side note, that white noise on the white ladder was critical.
Yeah,
So I'm
Yeah,
just
it looks
damn, that
painful.
was crazy.
I've been trying to do that for a while.
Fucking Psycho trying to make it worse.
I was trying.
You trying to do the flush, bro.
Yeah.
It just
Oh,
adds a little
yeah.
flavor.
Like we dominate every sport.
It adds a little flavor to the move. You feel me? Just an elbow drop on the ladder.
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hey,
He's majored.
Psycho,
Wow.
Psycho. Can you
What's up, G?
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, G. Yeah.
You know what I realized? Oh, my
Hold on,
bad.
Looney,
Go ahead, ask your
goddamn.
question, bro.
Oh,
My bad.
Put the mic in your
Because I didn't,
esophagus, please.
because my mic was off and I didn't hear he was about to ask a question until I put in, and I was about to ask one. But
Put
go
the
ahead,
mic in your stomach,
actually,
bro.
ask your question. bro.
Yo, Psycho, how come we haven't had any black leaders like Martin Luther King no more? Since
Hey, Barack Obama.
how come we haven't had a leader like them no more? I don't
Because
Barack.
because shut up, Looney. I mean, not Looney. Goddamn.
PVD.
Damn, monkey wrench. You just call yourself the distraction. Anyways,
Don't you
we
dare
haven't had leadership like that because of what the FBI did. Have you ever heard of COINTELPRO?
Yeah.
COINTELPRO was a FBI like mandate that every FBI agent had to have at least two black people that they were spying on, that were informants, that they were they had to come back and tell them stuff like this. So this was a mandate from J. Edgar Hoover, LBGT in the closet, J. Edgar Hoover. This is COINTELPRO is what killed Fred Hampton of the Black Panther Party. What killed Malcolm X, what killed Martin Luther King is they try to put black faces on it. They're like, no, actually a black person did it. He was an informant for the FBI. The FBI had to have these informants, and then because you had all these black people that were afraid of they would get these black people on these petty charges and be like, well, man, yeah, you look like you could be facing life in prison. It's like, man, I just had expired tags. No. Or they get them on some shit where they assault somebody. It's like, yeah, you're gonna go to jail for the rest of your life. So they turn them into informants. So now they establish this untrust between one another. So that's why we still today we don't trust one another. Let alone some leadership that could come along and say that they're going to help us or save us. Barack Obama is not a foundational black American. His dad is Kenyan. His mom is white. His mom is from yeah, good job. His mom's a white woman. He was born in Hawaii. So he doesn't have our talking points. He's not going to be representing foundational black Americans. He's not going to be talking about trying to help us out and be he wasn't our leader. It was basically a face. There's a policy we can go back to the lobby, yo. There's a policy. There's a policy called. There's a policy
Is there room
called.
for me to play?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to get you in.
Yeah.
There's a policy called in America. There's a policy called benign neglect. Benign neglect is them actively not talking about foundational black American talking points in the media. They don't talk about reparations. They don't talk about black people unless we're dying. This is what benign neglect is. They've been doing this for a long time, so they don't talk about us in the media. They don't talk about how after Martin Luther King died, right? They call it the Holy Week. We burnt this country down for a week and made them give us those civil rights laws. They try to make it seem like just nice white people did it. I mean, white people can be nice sometimes, and they do that. They're like, no. They can't. What happened was we turned the fuck up and burnt this shit down for 7 days. And on that 7th day, they was like, "Oh, goddamn, okay, here y'all can have, here, we want." That's why in like '72, you see the desegregation of schools and shit like that because they had to start that shit immediately, or we was gonna burn this motherfucker down. It always takes force because that's the only thing these motherfuckers understand. They the barbarians and the Vikings.
Why don't we do something like that now to stop this crap?
That's like because we don't have enough individual people who have the right mindset. We have to learn. We keep looking for groups of people. We keep looking for a leader to help us. A leader's not going to help us. The God is within us. We have to be the Jesus of our own lives and save our destiny, like I did. I was raised in the hood. I didn't have a dad. I was raised by my mom. I should have ended up one of these LBGT little queer boys fairies. That's how I should have ended up. I didn't because I took control of my life. I now own my own business. I now make thousands of dollars on the way to making my first 100K. Want to make my first million in a year. I was like, I'm taking control of my destiny in my life so I can help my people, teach them. I can raise my value and teach them things that I didn't learn on the way up. So now the next generation won't have to deal with this shit. It's all about intellectual property, passing that shit down to the next generation. There's $400 trillion being passed down from the last generation to this one. And only if you know about it, you're going to have access to it. The people who are smart enough have access to it. I was like, so people are going to be into it and shit like that. A whole bunch of people don't, though. Whole bunch of people, because why? They keep us trauma bonded. They have to kill a black man. There's like a couple of LGBT people killed maybe a year, maybe scattered throughout the years and shit like that. There are 300 at least on average black men killed a year, or black people a year. I was like, what? That's the problem. I was like, we keep looking at trauma and we keep saying there's no hope. When we're supposed to look within, find the God within, save ourselves, change our destiny, and then flip the whole trajectory of this whole thing. There's not going to be a lot of us that's going to be the leaders in the next generation. Only y'all may hear some shit about the 144,000, like they're trying to depopulate the planet to 144,000 people. No, there's only across the entire world, the billions of people here, there's only going to be 144,000 that elevate their mind to the next level and are able to change the trajectory of other people's lives as well as their lives easily and effortlessly, like they're fucking God, and like they just flip it like a flip of a switch. Like just you meeting me, just you talking to me, you elevated your mind, and now you're going to go off and make more money. There's not going to be many people like that. Luckily for me, I'm one of those people. I was like, so I bring it to Psychotopia once a week, every Saturday.
Hallelujah!
Between 12 and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Smash that dislike button.
Smash
So that's why we haven't done anything, because you, my friend,
like.
haven't done anything. You personally. Now I'm not ragging on you nothing, but what have you done to save your life and change your destiny other than getting up and working and fulfilling the dreams of another man? What have you
Maybe
done?
he's happy. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
It's like, it's not about being happy. We're not happy here. Did you hear the in his voice, the pain? I was like, we tired of this shit over here. Ain't no black people happy over here.
Yeah,
We're content.
yeah.
We're content. We're not in the Netherlands shoveling shit and being happy about it.
As a matter of fact, our neighborhoods are still pled. Our neighborhoods are still pled as a red line.
Yes. They don't give us the money, the taxes and shit. We can't get good books, good schools.
We're still being looked at. We're still being looked at as predators. Excuse me. We're still being looked at as predators. We can't walk out the street without people looking at us like, I hope he's not going to do nothing to us. Like, but no, and little do they know that we're just civilized people just like them. You get what I'm saying?
We taught that the Europeans had no educational structure called culture before they ran into us. We taught them culture. So for them to be flipping around, they descendants laying around like, oh my God, these black people are so angry and they're looting and they're protesting and oh my God. I was like, fuck y'all. Y'all was just
sounds like a bunch of narcissists, right?
Right, man. Like I'm like, man, it wasn't even a couple years ago. Y'all was raping our fucking men and women and separating them and shit. And it's just like, well, I didn't have anything to do with that. Neither the fuck did I, but I have to deal with the trauma from it. There's something called epigenetic tags, which means there are certain genes in parts of our DNA that go dormant, and they only come out when we're quote unquote triggered. So you may be fine your whole life. You like, oh, I'm good. Somebody found. Go ahead.
Sorry, a question, and don't get this wrong.
Question in the middle of the talking.
I get the whole point when it happens every 10 years, but now with the Black Lives Matters, it's trash what happened, but why? if something is getting there and you all raise up and say hey, no longer, why does that have to turn into fucking break everything and throw in the windows? You know.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens is
millions of damage.
Okay, let me
get the chance to get.
Listen.
People get the chance to get in
question. Let him answer.
Yeah, let me get him.
Talk is cheap.
I wasn't done yet.
But I got the crux of the question. You're just kind of like feeding on to it. I get the crux of the question. I can answer it already. I already know you. Cool.
Because you got a lot of people who are saying, hey, we are not with this vandalism and everything. But, you know, that's what we don't get over here.
Well, here's what I'm going to say to you. You're watching the white media portray black people. So just know that. That's one. You're watching the white media over here portray black people to the world. That's number one. You need to understand that first and foremost. Secondly, you have a lot of covert cops who are putting bricks on the sidewalks, who are going through dressed in all black. You have a lot of these anarchist white people who was dressing up in black hoods and covering their face, going around tagging Black Lives Matter everywhere and breaking windows to start some shit. Now, black people, because of where we are, we're opportunists because of how we've been raised and everything, and we are opportunists. So if somebody breaks open a fucking clothing store, okay, shit, that motherfucker's wide open. I'm gonna go ahead and grab me a couple fists. Fuck it. We did the same thing in the New York. It was some New York blackouts back in the day, and it blacked out, and a whole bunch of black people and Puerto Ricans and shit, they went and stole a whole bunch of turntables and big beatboxes and shit like that. This was the start of hip hop. we didn't have access to turntables and shit because people couldn't afford it. This was the start of hip hop. Opportunity. We take opportunity because they're not given to us. We have to take them. So if these white people gonna bust open the damn windows, we gonna go in there and take a couple fits. I was like, now they're gonna say, oh, because it happened during a Black Lives Matter protest, they're gonna say, oh, these black people are just so savage. Look at what they're doing. Oh my God. They're gonna do that, but they're not gonna tell you about the white men and white women that's been coming along, spray tagging Black Lives Matter on shit, and they put stuff like ACAB. ACAB stands for all cops are bastards. Black people don't know that shit. That's the white supremacist shit, because bastards are actually a good thing within the realm of white supremacy. So they call each other bastards. So all cops are bastards. That's the white supremacist thing. So white people will spray, these little anarchists will come through and they spray tag that shit everywhere. Like, black people's not doing all of this shit. Black people are just in the vicinity of this shit being done, taking advantage of the opportunities that's bestowed upon them. That's what you don't see happening. You just see the media say another loot and black people's faces, and you're like, well, see, that's why, well, I don't know. They're over here doing all this looting and shit like that. That's what they want you to think. It's not up to me to change your mind.
No, but it's not helping, that's what I'm saying.
What's not helping?
When all the looting and crap starts to happen.
Nobody, I don't know if you heard what I said, but nobody's looting. Black people aren't up here looting. You have anarchists going to these movements, going city to city where there's a big movement, and they're going and doing the anarchist thing. That, that A with the circle and the shit, the anarchy, they're doing that shit. They're going around doing that shit. It's not black people doing the shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. There's nothing that we're doing is not helping the situation. Anarchy's bad. Anarchy's that you're used to the Joker, and you like the Joker, so you think anarchy may not be like that bad of a thing. Anarchy is, you don't want any rules, so you want like the Purge all the time. Basically, you want Mad Max. You want, just everything to crumble, and we just start raping and killing and still doing. That's what anarchy is. I just want no rules. I can do whatever I want. Basically, as long as I have the power to do whatever I want, I can do whatever I want. Like, that's what anarchy is. They don't want any rules or structure. So you had these people who was coming. Yeah, some people want to see the world burn. Like, the Joker said, and everybody's just like, oh, it's such a cool line. It's like, but guess what? Yes. Here we are in America. These motherfuckers want to see the world burn. They don't give a fuck about black lives and shit like that, and they don't care about us dying and shit. They just want to see the world burn. So they show up, bust all the windows out, and start doing all this crazy shit. That's what's going on over here in America. I can say what's going on over here in America because I live here. I'm over here. You're just seeing the news. So that's what I'm saying. I'm explaining to you what the news is.
No, that sucks when that's because the guy just told me we in our neighborhood still is a red line. But, that sucks when that happens then, because stress.
I know you're European. I don't expect you to understand what's going on over here. But I don't blame you for it. That's just how it is over there. That's how they raised y'all over there, to not really give a fuck about black people's lives and shit over here.
No,
like we over here, because look, the reason why I'm saying this, because people from Africa who they would call black people have words like akada and shit that they call black people. Everybody in the world has some type of derogatory term for foundational black American people over here. Everybody, black, whether they look like us or not. So I understand there's a connotation behind us. We're supposed to be looked at as thugs, and that's all we do is this bullshit over here. And we beat our women, and we're drug lords and pimps and shit like that. Like, that's what the world has portrayed us as. So I'm not blaming you for that. I'm not saying that that's how you just that's how you want to think us, but that's how the world portrays us. That's a fact. That's what Luna was talking about earlier, where they think we're predators just walking down the street. I'm like, bitch, your daughter wants me. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want shit. Like, I don't want shit to do with y'all, for real. I don't really trust white people, but goddamn it, your daughter wants me. Like, she's sucking my dick.
Yeah, that is real though.
She won, that's all.
And that goes back.
That's why, hey, Psycho, that's why I say it's a con and a pro being a black man.
Yeah, I mean, the cons are only from an outside perspective. I only see nothing but positive things about being a black man. I love being a black man. I love my hair. I love my nose, my lips. I love my women. I love my sisters, my brothers. You know, we the most creative people on the planet. But guess what? We should not be ashamed to say that. We don't have to say, oh, well, everybody's talented. Like, fuck that. I'm repping for my people. My people are an excellent group of people. We're outstanding. Our excellence and our brilliance is unmatched. And it's like, if anybody wants to challenge you on that, then have them bring somebody up. I'll bring anybody, any sport or whatever. I can bring an excellent black person that did a whole bunch of good shit in it. Any and every sport. It's like I represent for my people, regardless. At the end of the day, me being black comes before the fact that I'm a man or what class I am in. I was like, I'm black first.
Well, what is the mixed person supposed to identify as being?
Well, it's their job. They have a unique place within the kingdom because they have to learn about both history and they have to choose the side. They actually have a choice because my children are mixed. So they have to. Well, I raised my children to be black. They know they black daddy. So guess what? Their hair is like mine. Their nose is like mine. Their lips are like mine. So when they go over to white culture and they ask, what's going on, or they see what's going on, they don't see hair like theirs. They don't see a nose like theirs. They don't see lips like theirs. I was like, so they're gonna pick up on the differences themselves. Like I don't have to be like, they're going to choose themselves and be like, okay, well, I clearly identify more as black. I need to treat my hair like this, and I need to do this. I need to live more of a foundational black American lifestyle in order for me to actually be comfortable within my own skin. They're going to learn that on their own. You feel what I'm saying? Like you just have them, they find out.
But I also did this very personal. But I know when my fiance told me that, yeah, my mom's black, my dad's white, but my dad's family is very racist and everything. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's it. That shit's real. That shit is real. That shit is real. So I mean, the white side usually doesn't make it any easier because guess what? they usually end up being racist against the black child. So the black children are going to end up identifying with black anyways, because it's like, okay, well, when I'm at the barbecue, everybody got hair like me and everybody loves me. The grandmama, she take me in as her own and all of that. But when I come over here, granny don't want nothing to do with me. Uncle look at me all funny and weird, like he want to do something to me, like what the fuck? And then auntie, she, she just blatantly about it. She just tell me to my face, like, so what do you do with all that hair and shit like that? There's certain shit that they say. I've been around them. So, I mean, there's certain shit that they say. Like a black, they used to say shit to my daughter like, oh man, your hair is a mess. I'm like, her hair ain't no damn mess. That's how it's come out of her damn head. It's like, don't tell my daughter her hair is a mess just because it don't look like your hair in the morning. It's like your hair is a damn mess. Like, you feel me? We need strong black men, not being afraid to be black, not being afraid to be men. You feel what I'm saying? Like I represent for that. Like fuck that. It's like I'm a heterosexual man. I represent the unk. The unk is life. Man, woman, and child. Children are the extension of life. That's what I'm here for. I'm an advocate for that. And I ain't shy about it. Go ahead.
Like I said, my fiance already chose her black side, because she with me. So like,
you feel me? Yeah, she's like, I made my choice. Fuck that. Yeah, they was on some bullshit over there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. These motherfuckers, yeah. They make the choice on their own, and it's easier. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to, definitely in America, you ain't got to tell a mixed person, oh, well, who do I choose? Go over to the white people and go and try to be a white person. Okay, go over with these black people, try to be a black person. Like, yeah, we may have a little colorism issues. Hell, I'm light-skinned as hell. People thought I was mixed. And people still would say I was mixed. My mama would even say, no, you're good. You're good. My mom would even say I was the milkman's baby. My dad's black, but I'm light-skinned as hell. So I've had to face the colorism for my people. I understand it. It's like, but what often unifies our people is the ability to explain the phenomena in which we are living in presently. So I can explain colorism and shit and all of that. And a brown-skinned brother and a light-skinned brother, and I'm a light-skinned brother, we can all get along and be like, okay, I understand why this shit's the way it is and shit like that. Yeah, I get it, man. Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, I wish it really wasn't like that, but it is. It's like, that's how, we just got to be stronger than the stereotypes and shit.
GG's.
I got nothing to say, Psycho. I'm a little bit of a colorist myself, a little bit.
Her, speak up a little bit. Speak up a little bit. I can't hear you.
No. Let me talk. Cause I'm like, not when it comes to the men. It's when it comes to the women. That's me.
So what's the problem that you're seeing?
That I'm saying that I have with myself, basically. I say I don't like dark skinned women. I don't like dark skinned women or light skinned women.
Do you not like them, or you prefer to have a, or you have a prefer to have a light skinned woman?
I prefer to have a light skinned woman.
It's like, so it's not, you don't hold any type of deep rooted contempt for dark skinned women, do you?
No, it's not really.
Okay, so that's just your preference. You just like light skinned, and luckily, because we're black people are the most diverse people on the planet, we have options for you, my brother. It's like, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed about that at all. You feel what I'm saying? People have preferences and shit, but if you say you don't want a dark skinned chick, and you like, oh, well, dark skinned chicks are loud and they're mean and they argue all the time and they this. He forgot. It's all right. He forgot. Look, he tried to go after him. Just focus back on Looney. But yeah, anyway, your preference. Don't be ashamed of your preference. But if you had some type of, like I was saying, oh, they argue all the time, they loud, they blah 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 blah. If you had all of this shit, I'm saying that's why you don't like black women. Now I have a problem with that, because fuck you, those are my sisters we're talking about. But if it's just that, if you see a lineup of women and you say, hey, I prefer this light skinned chick with an afro than this dark skinned chick with an afro, it's all right. Fuck it. We got a whole bunch of different types of women. Fuck it.
Put your nasty boot off me.
Oh, you'll learn to appreciate it. You'll be okay.
Oh God.
Great news, yo. Damn.